Microsoft Excel has a lot of functions and formulas for data manipulation whenever we have our worksheet activated. Now, as a Microsoft Excel user or a beginner to Microsoft Excel, there are certain formulas or functions you need to possess, and these functions and formulas should be part of you in your daily usage when it comes to Microsoft Excel. And when these functions that I'm going to share with you are part of you, it advances you to other functions or integrating different kinds of functions together to perform specific tasks. Now, in this certain video, I am going to share 10 functions with you, and at the end of this video I am going to introduce you to another function which is going to be a bonus for you, and that will help you to organize your data that is created in Microsoft Excel. So without any further ado, let's dive in and explore these particular functions. But before then, welcome to Banahene Tutorial Collections. This channel provides videos on computing activities, techniques and other stuffs. Please subscribe and be part of this great community, and you shall always be notified with educative videos on your YouTube home page. Now, in this worksheet or in this open workbook, we are going to start with the first function, which is the VLOOKUP function. This vertical function helps you to identify or pull out certain data in your worksheet. Now, I have these two worksheets here, which consist of employee name, first name and last name. And also when I move to this worksheet, I have name and also training. Let me format this quickly. Now, these names that we have here, when you move to this worksheet, this is the name that we have here that serves as the first name for all these employees that we have here. When you look at this data set, this is the full name of these individual employees, and we have their first name and also last name. Now, when we come here, we have their first name here, and this is the training that they partake, and we want to pull all these trainees to this particular worksheet. We can do the static way by selecting all these, Ctrl+C, move to this section and select this cell, Ctrl+V. We can double click and we can type the training they partake, and now you can see that this is the complete data that we want. But there is something wrong with this data. Why am I saying so? This training that they partake, something that happens monthly. Therefore, if you have this static information, then it means that when there's another training given to these employees, you are going to have different training here, and you need to select, move back and also paste this option, and that is going to be something that you'll be doing consistently. Therefore, VLOOKUP is going to be a time saver, and that is going to help you to have a dynamic data, and this dynamic data is going to help you have a well analyzed and well modified data. So I'm going to delete this and show you practically how this VLOOKUP works. So in this case, we are going to type the equal to sign and the VLOOKUP function, and I'm going to press the tab key. Now it says lookup value. We are going to look at the first name of the employee, and that is the name that we have in our separate worksheet. Then I'm going to bring the comma. Then it says table array, so we are going to look at this table. Then you bring your comma. Then it says index number, because we want this particular information into our worksheet. We are going to choose the column number as 2 because we have this data, so it starts 1 and 2, so the column index number is going to be 2. Bring your comma, and we want an exact match. Therefore, we are going to double click on this. Then we press the enter key on the keyboard. Now, when we get back to our main worksheet, you can see that we have this as PowerPoint. Therefore, when you move to this worksheet, Jonas partake in PowerPoint, and that is what is reflecting in this current worksheet. Therefore, if I click and double click, this is going to reveal all the trainees that was partaked by all these employees. So if I move to this, we have Jessica who partake in OneNote, and that is what we have here. So the next time that these trainees is going to be given to these employees, and let's say Jonas partake in access. Now when you hit the enter key and move back to this worksheet, you can see that this has automatically changed, and this is the perfect configuration you should have for your data. So when you are using functions in Excel, it makes your work easier and also dynamic. So whenever there is a change in any of these data in this worksheet, you don't need to worry to cross check. Automatically that is going to reflect, and this is the VLOOKUP function, and we have advanced way of using this function, but this is to introduce you to this function and be very conversant with it and use it and let it be part of you, and that is going to make you an Excel pro. Now this jump us to the next function, which is the if function. Now I'm going to explore this particular data set, and this data set we have employee ID, name, number, hourly wage, works, that is the hours worked, salary, and also we have paid or unpaid option. Now when we get to this section, we have status. Now during our conversation or our current meeting in our institution, this data, we wanted to increase salary of the employees that have the most hours worked. That is, if their hours worked exceed a certain value, we want to increase their salary. Based on that, we are going to use this function known as the if function. So I'm going to type the equal to symbol and type the if function. Now it says logical text, so we are going to base on the hours worked. So I'm going to start with the first employee. So I'm going to select this cell, bring my comma, and it says find the value if true. Therefore I'm going to erase the comma and type equal to. So if an employee work within 30 hours and above, those people are going to have a salary increment. So I'm going to say if E3 is equal to or greater than 30, then we are going to have salary increased. Now because this is a text, you need to put this into a quotation mark. Then we bring our comma. I hope you are focusing on this particular formula. Now it says value if false. So if an employee is less than 30, then we are going to have decline. So what we are trying to say here is that if an employee is working within 30 and above, that is the hours worked, that particular employee is going to have a salary increment. But if it is less than, then we are going to decline that particular option. So I'm going to close the bracket and hit the enter key. Now it says decline because this particular employee is less than 30. I'm going to double click. Let me expand this data. Now those who have salary increased have 30 and above, and as you can see here, and those who have less than 30 hours have been declined of salary increment. So this is a beautiful function you should use, especially if you want to get out certain options. It can be used in the classroom to determine the highest student, the highest mark, and other stuff. So explore this function and be an Excel pro. Now this moves us to the next function, which is called the sum function, and I'm going to utilize this particular data. Now in this data we have fruit, quantity, and also amount. Now let's assume that we want to have the total quantity of all these fruits that we have here. We can click below, and this is where we are going to use the sum function. I'm going to show you different ways to sum your data in Microsoft Excel. The first way is to move to the home tab, and then we have this particular group, which is the editing group, and we have auto sum. When you click on it, this is going to detect all the cells above this current cell. Therefore these are the cells above, and Excel has automatically identified this data. Therefore when you press the enter key, this is going to total or add up your data in Microsoft Excel. Therefore if you add all these cells above, this is going to give you this particular option. And this step that I showed you by choosing this is when your data is well organized vertically and you want to calculate or have the total below your data. But let's assume you have your data in different cells, then there's another way you can use to sum up your data in Microsoft Excel. I'm going to delete this. Another way to add is to type equal to sign. You type the sum function, press the tab key, and it says number 1, number 2. So you can quickly select and drag over the data you want to sum. Then you press the enter key. This also provides you the total for this quantity. You can also select equal to, then you type the sum function, and this time around we are going to base on range, because this sum function helps you to calculate 2 or more cells or range of cells. So if I move above, the first number is in B2, so you type B2, then you bring your colon because we are calculating for range, and the last cell is B11. When you close the bracket, you can also ignore the bracket. When you hit the enter key, this also provides you with the total of the quantity of fruit we have in this data. Hope we are learning something. Now this moves us to the next function, which is called the COUNTIF. Now this allows you to count number of items based on their appearance in a range of items. So I'm going to select this cell and type the equal to sign and the COUNTIF function. Press the tab key. It says range, so this is my range. I'm going to calculate the number of oranges or mangoes in this particular list. So I'm going to select all this, then I'll bring my comma, and it says criteria. I'm going to base on this because I have created a drop down list here, and hit the enter key. Now this is what we have here, pineapple, and when I move here I have pineapple appearing twice in this list. If I click and change this to apple, I have it as 2, as you can see. Click mango, I have it as 3. You have mango, mango, and mango. So COUNTIF allows you to count certain items within a range, and this is a brief example. You can use it on different examples or different data sets based on what you want to count or the kind of data you want to count in your data worksheet. So this is the COUNTIF function. The next one on my list is called the CONCATENATE function, and I'm going to utilize this worksheet. Now in this worksheet I have employee name, first name, last name, and training. You can see that this employee name consists of the first name and the last name. Let me show you how I generated this employee name consisting of the first name and the last name. I'm going to delete this. Now I'm going to select this particular cell. This is what we are going to do. We type the equal to symbol, then you type the concatenate function, and this is shown in this list. I'm going to double click, then it says text 1, text 2, and I'm going to base on this. Then you bring your comma. Now because we want to separate this first name and last name with a space, you use your quotation mark, then you bring another comma and select this particular cell and close the bracket. Now when you hit the enter key, this gives you, or this add these two cells together to form the complete name. Therefore when I click and drag, you can see that I have these names concatenate together to form a complete name. Therefore I can click on this border using my right mouse button and drag it to this particular section, and this is going to give me this option. I'm going to choose the first option, which says move here. Now I have the option to format this. I'm going to select this data, click and drag over these cells, and that is going to format my data perfectly for me. So this is how to use the concatenate function to add two data or two sets of data together to form a particular data. Now the next on my list is the average function. I'm going to select this cell. I want to find the average of this particular data. How can we do this? Select this cell, move to the home tab, click on this arrow and choose average. Now when you press the enter key, it says 22.6. Now finding the mean or average of a particular range of data is when this is going to add all the data and divide it by the number of the appearance of the data. So this is the result that we have using the average function. You can also manually type equal to average, and I have it in this list. Double click, and I'm going to select this cell, bring the colon and select this cell, and this also provides me with this particular option, and that is the output that we had when we use the function on the ribbon. So this is how to calculate the average or the mean in Microsoft Excel. The next on my list is the max function. Now let's assume that this data that we have here, we have quantity, and each fruit has its quantity that we are going to buy from the market. Now we want to get the maximum fruit that has the large quantity. This is where we can use the max function. So you select this cell, move to the home tab, click on the arrow and choose max. Press the enter key. Now it says 50. It means that among this quantity, the orange is the fruit that has a lot of quantity. So you can also select and use the equal to sign, double click, and this is this cell, and select this cell. Now this is going to select the range of these cells. When you press the enter key, we have this as the highest quantity. Now the next one is the mean function. Delete, move to the home tab, select this and choose mean, and this gets you the lowest quantity of this fruit, and that is 10. So it means that the lemon has the lowest quantity in terms of going to the market and buying this fruit. So this is the mean. You can also type it manually. We have this as B2, bring your colon, and we have this as B11. And when you hit the enter key, you get the minimum value for this particular data. The next on my list is the LEN command. Now this is useful and it's also for personal experience. That is, if you want to calculate the number of characters that is involved in a particular data, you can use the LEN command. So in this case, I have pineapple, orange. Let's assume I select this and type equal to, then I select this particular cell and hit the enter key. This tells me that I have 5 characters that are constituted to form this mango. If I click and choose this, 5, 9, it means that this is of 9 characters, which is the pineapple. So the LEN is for personal experience, and also based on the kind of data that you are working within, you could be asked to find the number of characters that are constituted to form a specific data in your worksheet. You can use this LEN command. Now the next on my list is the today command. Now when you type the today command, this provides you the date based on the date that is set on your computer system. So this is the date. I have this as 9th of November 2024, and this is the date that I have. So typing this today function provides you with this particular date. The next one is the now command. This one provides you the date and also the time that is set on your computer system. So if you want to find your date or your time, you can base on the today function and also on the now function. And these are dynamic functions because at a point in time, maybe 1 minute time or 2 minutes time, when you press the F9 on the keyboard, this is going to change your date or your times. Let's wait for another 1 minute. You see, when I press, this has changed from 5 to 556. Previously it was 555. So this is the now and also the today function in Microsoft Excel. And as you can see, when you have all these functions that I've introduced to you, this is going to help you to have a better understanding and also a better usage of Microsoft Excel. Now I promise you a bonus function that is going to help you to organize your data. I'm going to move to this data. You can see that I have these employee names, and these names are not well organized or arranged, pushed by spaces, and also some are in a different location, which is not making the data worksheet well organized as compared to these names that we have here. So we are going to use a function that is going to help us to remove all the spaces and have our data organized. I'm going to select this, right click and choose insert. I have this here. Now type your equal to sign and type the trim command, and I'm going to select the text. This is going to perfectly remove all the spaces that were involved in this employee names and have this as your perfect output. Right click on this selected data and choose copy, and now right click on the same location and choose paste special, and then we have this option that says paste as values. Now this is not consisting of any function, therefore if I press the escape key, right click on this border and drag it to this section, I can choose move here, and this is going to have a perfect data placement in this particular column. Therefore I can select this column, right click and choose delete, and that's going to have a perfect organized data. So these are the functions I want to share with you in this video, and as I said earlier, have a frequent usage, and these functions are going to be part of you, and that's going to help you to explore very well in Microsoft Excel, and the aim is to be very productive as well. Thank you for watching this video. See you in the next one.